It's time for the LA Sentinel Community Insider, our weekly partnership with the Los Angeles Sentinel, and correspondent Niele Anderson joins us in studio with more. Welcome.
Thank you for having us back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got another exclusive over there with Paul R. Williams and his family. What's happening?
That's right. The Paul R. Williams Collection is launching the Paul R. Williams Education Fund. And this is important because when we look at the American Institute of Architects, African Americans only make up 2% of its population. So when we look at that organization and the need for, when we say representation matters, Paul R. Williams is the architect to the stars during a time in the 1920s where he couldn't live where he built. And some of the historic places that he built was the room in the Beverly Hills Hotel, Angela's Funeral Home right there on Crenshaw Boulevard. He participated in the LAX building in its original state. And so when we look at this architect and we talk about representation matters, his family has decided to invest in 7 HBCUs to provide scholarships that have accredited architect programs, as well as USC, his alma mater. So this is so important and such a good thing to do for the community.
Yeah, because this is, I mean, the first Black architect in LA, and I was reading that he actually had to learn to draw upside down because when he was dealing with people, he couldn't sit next to them if they were white clients.
To white folks, right?
So he would have to
this
draw.
was his way to do it. And some of the houses that he built were Frank Sinatra, right? Lucy and Desi Arnaz. But he couldn't buy a house in those communities during that time. So we've come a long way, and to amplify and to celebrate his legacy through him giving back to more Black individuals is just an awesome thing.
Yeah, and switching gears from housing, building houses to building more houses, this time for people in need in a community that really could use it.
Right. So Bridge Housing, they have partnered with Primester and Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson to build a multi-mix complex right there on Manchester and Vermont, which is a place where the 1992 civil unrest destroyed a community and destroyed a piece of land. So now they are rebuilding. And I think what makes this story so significant is when we think of our unhoused community, this is going to help out a lot. And so when we look at what Mayor Karen Bass is doing, this is where we see nonprofit organizations as well as civic leaders and the corporate community is coming together to help fix that problem. And that's how we're going to help solve the housing project.
And it won't just help with folks who need housing, but also impact that community.
Right, because it's mixed housing, right? They're going to build a grocery store, it'll have schooling, it'll have middle income families, and so this is what community looks like. It's helping the community, uplifting the community, and growing the community.
Yeah, and this is an area that really has just been sitting dormant, really.
Sitting dormant since the 1992 civil unrest.
Wow, and when will it, I know they just did the groundbreaking, so we've got a little time before it actually opens.
Next year it's supposed to be completed, and so this is just an exciting new space, especially for Councilmember Dawson.
Yes. Well, we certainly look forward to hearing more about both of these stories and everything that you put in the paper this week.
Right, yeah.
So thank you so much, Niele. And for all the information on these stories and so much more, check out this week's edition of the Los Angeles Sentinel. Scan the QR code on your screen for all of the details.